Hey everybody, Steven Sitkowski here, leading educator on how to trade the financial markets. So we've had a crazy beginning of this week. So I thought what we would do is check on the market, see if we can figure out what in the world is going on, maybe look at a couple of trades I told you about earlier, and we'll just take it from there, help you to better understand how markets respond to news and other events. So let's look at a chart on the SPY. Those of you that are new, the SPY is a proxy for the S&P 500. The S&P 500 consists of 500 large cap stocks. So what do we see here? Well, I'll annotate this a bit. So if we connect the lows and we connect the highs, I mean, technically, we're still in a bullish market. We're at the bottom of the bullish range. And so we're just kind of sitting back. We've gotten killed last couple of days, most especially. Today, the Dow was down 300 points. Now, by the time you watch this, obviously, that could be a little bit different. So the question is, all right, what's the problem? Well, here's the issue. We are continuing to have all of these trade war conversations with China. China is getting a little more aggressive in their positioning, and they're saying, we're going to suggest strongly that you stop this, remove the tariffs, and or there's going to be consequences. So anytime you get into this little fighting back and forth, never good for the market. Everybody's sitting back going, wow, what in the world is going to happen next? So China's an issue. Talk of recession, definitely an issue. There's about a 80% chance the Fed is going to lower interest rates in October, and that's in response to just a crummy economy. I mean, everybody's saying, well, we've got unemployment down to 3.5%, and that's true. But that's not the only part of the economy. GDP growth is relatively weak. Corporate profits are starting to come down a bit. So there is pressure from a fundamental perspective on this market. And then people have been asking me, well, the impeachment inquiry, the impeachment investigation, whatever you want to call it, it's the same thing. Is that having any impact? And so far, no. I mean, we have a circus in Washington, D.C., and Wall Street doesn't seem to care, which is one of the ways that Wall Street has changed a lot. But I did want to show you my Ulta trade that worked out great for me. And I'm going to show you why it did work out great. So I'm going to pull up the chart. And as you look at this, right, Ultra was forming this rounded bottom that I told you about. Great time to buy a call option. Stock went up, up, up. And then notice it is retraced. So your question might be, well, then how did that trade work out for you? Here's the answer. When I take an option trade, I also use something called a stop loss. Now they just call them stop orders. The SEC stepped in and said, don't use the word loss because you can have a loss with them, no question. So if I come in and I buy an option for, say, $10 a share, as that option goes up, then I am putting a stop behind it. So maybe when I buy it for 10, I have a stop at 7. And then in this case, it ran up. Say it ran up to 15, then I put a stop at 13. So then if you get a turnaround like we had on Ulta and the value of that call option starts to go down, once it hits 13, boom, we get taken out of the position. So using stops or trailing stops is a way to protect yourself in the event that a winning trade starts to turn into potentially a losing trade. So one of my rules of thumb is always this: anytime I can lock in a profit, I do it. And especially now with markets being all over the place. You get a winner, put in your stop, first to break even, then to generate a profit, then just keep raising it. Then ultimately when you get stopped out of that position, it's after you've made some money, which is really the name of the game. So we're going to keep an eye on this crazy market. It has been nuts. I think it's going to continue to be nuts. There'll be a lot of volatility going into the next Fed meeting, but I'll be here to help you through it all. That's what I do. So thanks for subscribing. If you haven't, be sure and do it. And then click on the notification bell so every time I post something new, you get it fresh. So until next time, have an awesome day. God bless. And I'll see you in a few days. Bye for now.